Hello, viewers. We're here again with an episode 9. Last time we reflected on the lives of Ajay and Guddu and how their childhood experiences molded their personalities, along with some what ifs. Today we'll continue our reflections on how Ajay and Guddu's early experiences affected their children's lives, that is, our lives. So we'll continue with the reflections today. When I look at some of the army brats, so to say, or army kids, meaning the children of army officers, they are basically everything that I'm not. As a little kid, I remember being overawed when I looked at the typical rich kid. I was intimidated by 5-star hotels and anyone who looked even remotely glamorous. So here we were in our home-stitched clothes that mom insisted were fine for the super cool Juhu Army Club. And when I would look around at the stunning outfits worn by other young people, mom would point out to the one odd person who was badly dressed and tell me in a very offhand manner not to be bothered by how I was dressed. See, there are all kinds of outfits around, she would say, which did nothing to make me feel better about how out of place I looked with my oiled braids and overall Benji look. Mom seemed pretty comfortable with her saris and salwar kameezes, but then she never got on the dance floor. I remember one particularly cringy wedding reception where mom's behavior appalled me. That was when I felt most that she would have been very different had she lived the army life. We were attending a wedding reception of dad's colleague. It was an elegant affair, Parsi family. We saw that dad's boss and his wife had arrived at the party and we greeted them. The boss's wife, Khurshid, was a typical society lady. She walked around the venue, greeting people whom she knew before she settled down at her table. My mom started following the boss's wife a couple of feet behind. So basically, mom stopped when Khurshid stopped at a table, like a mouse hiding. And then mom walked again when Khurshid was done greeting and talking to that particular group of people. And I was tagging along. I was with mom, feeling very weird. Confused, I whispered, "Mom, what are you doing?" I can't remember the exact details, but at some point, Khurshid noticed what mom was doing with me in tow. She just gave a laugh and said, "Oh, no worries, you can keep at it." But I was so humiliated and mortified. What was mom doing scuttling around like a mouse behind the boss's wife? Did mom not know what to do at social gatherings? It seemed that whenever mom and dad went to such gatherings, be it a corporate event or some other party, dad would just walk briskly ahead, completely ignoring mom, and then make a beeline for the bar. All the while, mom would be struggling to keep up, with her sari and all that. And then, when dad went to the bar, she would just be left alone to figure out for herself what she had to do and where she was to go. And mom behaved like a lost child at these events, even though she was better than that. And these were my role models. I don't know how much I can blame them for being poor role models. They were, after all, straddling two worlds. Dad had been thrust into a different socio-economic circle when he decided to take the path less traveled in terms of doing something different from what his family and friends had done so far. So, on the one hand, the extended family on both sides were either mostly illiterate farmers. The standard of education in Punjab had taken a nosedive after government reforms to ensure that all those who got appointed to teacher jobs were underqualified due to reservation for underprivileged communities. Sometimes, in a hurry to uplift the downtrodden, we don't think things through. So, we socialized with and were related to complete social bumpkins on the one hand, and we were surrounded by high society, big city life on the other hand. And we were exactly in the middle of it. The result of this was that I could not relate with either group. Every single family member of ours who made it to the armed forces was at the Jawan level, the staff level. And if you see how elitist the army lifestyle is, you would know that the Jawans and officers never socialize together. The clubs are exclusively for the officers. The Jawans have other entertainment. They do have a very active social life, but like in completely different ways and in completely different parts of the living quarters. The shopping centers, living quarters, almost everything is different for the officers and the Jawans. So when I went to spend summer vacations with relatives who lived in shared quarters where they would have to keep moving every few months, carting their belongings in metal trunks, I knew I did not belong with them. And then, at other times, when we went to the glamorous part of town and partied with people who wore evening gowns and were so chill, I knew I did not belong with them either. And like mom wouldn't let us listen to English music, so I was completely illiterate about any music that was not on Vivid Bharati. But basically mom just did not like music. That's a different story why. So she really objected to music being played at all. So it's a wonder whatever music we knew was from that Chhaya Geet and later Chitrahar. And so even if I did go to some place like jazz, by the way, I did not enjoy or understand that music. And I did feel like I stood out like a sore thumb among the crowd that was there because I literally did not belong. I was not one of them. I was not enjoying the music they were enjoying, the way they were enjoying the music. I was way too self-conscious about me looking like so different from them and also not at all being into that music, that kind of stuff. So here I was, also straddling two worlds, yet in a very different way from my parents. For them, they were very clear about their identity. Or mom at least was. She considered herself a village girl who grew up with very little and was grateful that she was doing so much better than all her siblings, who were either living in villages or had modest jobs at best. About dad, I'm not so sure. I feel like having left the village quite early in life and then being in a really nice college in a nice part of the city, I feel probably he did not feel that sense of belongingness with his village people either. And then again, he didn't really feel that camaraderie with the city people either, but I felt he was more comfortable in the city. So, but when I looked at our lives, I thought about how different mom and dad would have been and how different we would have been if we had lived in army officer quarters and had attended army schools with other army kids. I know that my confidence and self-esteem would have been very different. Our worldview and outlook of life would also have been very different. Our entire lifestyle would have been so much better. Wearing home-stitched clothes that were not on trend and having an oiled braids hairstyle made me feel embarrassed, and we stood out like sore thumbs. Also, how we made do because mom really wanted to save every penny she could possibly save. There was this thing where I joined this new school in first standard, and I don't know why the school starts in the rainy season, right? June. That raincoat that I got, its cap was missing. And my parents, like, they couldn't obviously find a matching cap anywhere, or they might have tried, I don't know. They got me a boy's cap to wear with that raincoat. So right when starting this new school, I'm already, I don't belong because I don't speak the language. It's the first time I'm going to an English school straight in first standard, not even in KG. So I don't speak the same language as any other kid. And here I am looking like a clown with a girl's raincoat and a boy's rainy, hat, cap, whatever. So right from the beginning, I felt a little out of place, and like I was very self-conscious about my appearance. I was the only kid with these really long, untrimmed braids. So people treated us differently because we probably did not even look smart. I remember one instance where I was so impressed by the Amarsons shopping center. It's there in South Bombay. That was near my college. Like, I was so amazed to see such a cool shopping center, which I had not seen before, that I insisted on showing it to my mom. I was so excited to see it. Places where we shopped at the time were nothing like malls or even supermarkets. They were typical desi baniya shops. So mom was reluctant to come and avoided it for a while. But I was so persistent, keen to share a good experience with my family members. My college friends and I would go to the beautiful shopping center during some free classes. So I dragged my mom to the cool part of town where my college was and started showing her around eagerly. Soon, I noticed that the security guard was following us, keeping his eyes just on us, very obviously tracking us. He wasn't hiding it or anything. I felt humiliated. Like, we walked a little further, whichever place we turned, he would turn and he just kept looking at us. So I felt really humiliated and offended, but I tried to ignore it. Now, we were dressed in our villagey clothes and definitely looked out of place in that shopping center. Mom's home-stitched salwar kameez and her oiled juda, no makeup. Other shoppers definitely dressed and came across like rich people. After a few minutes of the guard following us as we walked around, and I excitedly pointed out beautiful merchandise to my mom, I could not take it any longer. I just told mom that we were done and we walked out of the shopping center. That was not a good experience for me. Another time, I was very excited seeing a furniture exhibition at the elegant Jahangir Art Gallery in South Bombay. Again, wanting to share the experience, I insisted that my older sister come and see the beautiful pieces of furniture on display. Like, I was so fascinated, and they were very Punjab focused but very trendy. Like, that was like a modern take on traditional Punjabi furniture. So it was a rainy day, and as we walked from VT station, it's now called Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminus, to Jahangir Art Gallery, the muddy rainwater from the streets penetrated our footwear and muddied our feet. Obviously, we were not taking cabs and rickshaws. We wouldn't even get 1 rupee extra, for even snacks or anything. Even for emergencies, I don't know if we got much. So, our feet were kind of muddy, our footwear was muddy. Reaching the gallery, we walked to the washrooms and wanted to clean our feet before entering the exhibition hall. So I asked the cleaning lady, I shouldn't have maybe, I asked the cleaning lady over there whether we would be able to clean our feet in the washrooms. So immediately, at the prospect of having to clean the washroom again, she told us sternly that we could not wash our feet in the toilet. Maybe it was because of the way we looked that she felt, she could kind of really just talk to us that way, I don't know. So my poor sister, she struggled to wash her feet as best as she could without dirtying the washroom. But once she came out, the cleaning lady immediately went into the stall and then started yelling at us for washing our feet there. So we did not enjoy the experience of the furniture exhibition much after that. So another thing that showed me the contrast of my existence, had dad continued in the army as an army officer, was when we visited someone in Khadakwasla once. So I still remember we were visiting this army officer in Khadakwasla. So there's a military training academy, and I guess he was a teacher there. So we were driving through that area at the time, and we were teens probably, or pre-teens, I'm not sure. And we stopped by his house because we knew him. The location itself was amazing. When we reached his place, he was wearing his tennis outfit and leaving in a jeep, racket in hand, to go and play tennis at the lawns. I was so impressed when I realized what a great schedule he had. So I was like, wow, this person at 4 o'clock, he's free, he comes home, he has some refreshments, and then he leaves to play tennis with his buddies. 3 guys had come to, kind of pick him up. And he had his own jeep also, and I just saw his cool, like the white shorts, the white collared tee, and his white socks, white shoes. I was like, wow. So also that was just one part of talking to the person. As soon as we arrived, he abandoned his tennis buddies and was so gracious about receiving us, and was so dismissive about missing his evening activity. He was a delightful host, not wanting us to apologize about interrupting his schedule. The way the wife and kids behaved was also a reflection of this elegant and glamorous lifestyle in my eyes. And I thought this could have been us, Would dad have learned how to treat a lady who was accompanying him had he continued as an army officer? Because remember, while he was an army officer, he was not even allowed to have a wife. So by the time mom joined him, he was no longer like an army officer. There was no clubbing and going out in the evenings, and that whole army social life that seems so different from the way the civilians live. So that was not there for them. Like when mom joined him, he was already on the jungles assignment, and there was no social life over there. So would mom have been less oppressive had she lived the army wife life? Would we have been as elegant and glamorous as the other girls we had seen at the army club? I don't know. But I'm sure that the quality of our lives would have been far superior had dad continued in the armed forces. I wonder if the Amarsons shopping mall experience and the Jahangir Art Gallery experience would have been different had we grown up as army kids. Would we still have been treated shoddily by the security guards and cleaning women had we known to dress better and carry ourselves with more self-assurance, or even how to interact with others who maybe are a little rude towards us? We really didn't know that. I don't know. Would we have had better EQ and handled the situation differently if we had been brought up as army kids? I'm sure of that actually. So this situation in which I found myself felt like I had been given a glimpse of what my life could have been, and then it was snatched away. Would it have been better never to have known the armed forces life? What if dad had just continued living in the village, and that had been the only life we'd known? I wouldn't have felt bad about those missed chances then, I guess. Kind of like my married life, I think. I knew how lovely marriage could be in the right circumstances. I'd been so particular to choose correctly while dating so that I did not end up with someone who was not right for me. Yet, I ended up with a man who was worse than the sum total of all the negative qualities of all the people I'd ever dated. But more about that later. Until then, this is the story of my life. Every word true as far as I know. Thank you for watching. Please like my video and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you, and share my story if you think it could help someone. Until next time, goodbye.